Let me tell you something that nobody else is going to say to your face. Everyone out there tells you that you just need to believe in yourself. They tell you to look in the mirror, repeat some empty affirmations, and somehow magically your life will transform. That is a lie. A dangerous, comforting lie designed to keep you exactly where you are. They sell you this idea of instant confidence like it is something you can just download into your brain overnight. But confidence without competence is just delusion. It is a house built on sand waiting for the first real storm of life to wash it all away. I am not here to sell you a feeling. I am here to tell you the raw, unfiltered truth about what it actually takes to build an unstoppable mindset. You do not just wake up one morning with unwavering belief in yourself. You have to earn it. You have to forge it in the dark when nobody is clapping for you, when nobody even knows your name. That voice in your head right now, the one that doubts everything you do, it is not going away because you smiled in the mirror. It is going to step aside when you finally give it undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Listen to me carefully. Most men are walking around today paralyzed by their own potential. They have big dreams, massive goals, visions of a life that looks completely different from the one they are living right now. But what do? They sit and wait for the feeling of readiness to arrive. They think that one day motivation is going to strike them like lightning, and suddenly they will have the courage to take action. Stop and think about this. When has that ever actually worked for you? Waiting for the perfect mood is a poverty mindset. The truth is, the action must come before the belief. You have to start walking before the path is fully lit. Every time you delay your start because you do not feel confident enough, you are training your brain to retreat from friction. You are telling your subconscious that fear dictates your schedule. If you want to break that cycle, you have to understand that true belief in yourself is built on a mountain of kept promises. When you say you are going to do something and you actually do it, you deposit a coin into your confidence bank. But right now, your account is overdrawn. You have broken too many promises to yourself. I know you are tired of waiting. I know it feels like you are spinning your wheels while everyone else is moving forward. But here is where it gets interesting. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not a gap in talent. It is not a gap in intelligence. It is a gap in execution when nobody is watching. We live in a world that glorifies the finish line but completely ignores the marathon. You see the highlight reels. You see the sudden success stories. But let me tell you about the invisible work. The invisible work is the foundation of every unstoppable mindset. It is the iceberg principle in action. What you see above the surface, the confidence, the results, the respect, that is only 10% of the reality. The other 90% is submerged in freezing dark water. It is the early mornings when the alarm clock feels like an assault. It is the late nights when your eyes are burning, but you read one more chapter. It is the weekends you sacrificed while your friends were out wasting time and money they did not have. You want the glory of the 10% without enduring the isolation of the 90%. It does not work that way. You want to know what separates the 1% from the 99%? The 1% fell in love with the dark room. Think about how a photograph used to be developed. Before digital cameras, you had to take the film into a completely dark room. You had to expose it to harsh chemicals. If you opened the door too soon and let the light in, the picture was ruined. Your development as a man works exactly the same way. You need the dark room. You need a season of absolute isolation and focus where you are not broadcasting every move you make. But what do? You start a new routine and immediately want to tell the world about it. You want the applause before the paint is even dry. That is a desperate plea for external validation, and it is killing your internal drive. When you learn to work in silence, you stop relying on other people's opinions to fuel your engine. You become self-generating. Your power comes from within because you know exactly what you endured to get here. Nobody handed it to you. You built it in the dark, brick by boring brick, fighting battles nobody else will ever know about. That silent struggle is the only thing that creates true, unbreakable resilience. The invisible work is where your character is actually formed. Let me ask you this. What do you do when you are completely alone and the task in front of you is hard and you know for an absolute fact that you could quit right now and nobody would ever find out? What do you do in that exact second? Because your answer to that question defines your entire life. If you take the easy way out, you might fool your boss. You might fool your friends. You might even fool your family, but you will never fool yourself. Your subconscious mind is watching you right now. It records every time you cut a corner. It notes every time you hit snooze. And when you finally step into the arena, when you finally need that confidence to pitch a business, approach a partner, or stand up for yourself, your brain is going to pull out the receipts. It will look at your history of quitting and say, "We don't do hard things. We fold." But what if you told a different story? What if your invisible work was so flawless, so relentlessly disciplined, that your own mind had no choice but to believe you are unstoppable? That is the secret. You build the belief by proving it to yourself when nobody else is looking. Now, pay attention to this. People love to talk about being in a right place at the right time. They look at someone who achieved massive success and call them lucky. That is the ultimate excuse for the lazy man. It protects his ego. If success is just luck, then he does not have to feel bad about watching television for 4 hours every night. But luck is an illusion. What people call luck is actually the precise moment when extreme preparation meets opportunity. The universe is constantly dealing out opportunities. Every single day, doors are cracking open. The problem is not that you lack opportunity. The problem is that you are not prepared to walk through the door when it opens. If the opportunity of a lifetime knocked on your door right this second, would you be ready? Do you have the skills? Do you have the discipline? Do you have the mental stamina to handle the pressure that comes with it? For most men, the honest answer is no. They would fumble the bag because they spent their waiting period complaining instead of preparing. You cannot control when your moment will arrive, but you have absolute control over who you will be when it does. Let me tell you how the law of preparation works. It is ruthless, and it does not care about your feelings. The law states that you will only rise to the level of your daily standards. If you practice at 50% effort, you will perform at 50% when the lights come on. There is no magic switch you can flip just because the stakes are high. In fact, when the pressure hits, you do not rise to the occasion. You default to your level of training. I need you to let that sink in. You default to your level of training. If your training consists of scrolling on your phone, dodging responsibilities, and seeking instant gratification, that is exactly how you will react when life puts you to the test. But what if you raise your baseline? What if your normal everyday standard is higher than most people's maximum effort? Think about a boxer in the 12th round. He is not thinking about his footwork or his jab. He is running on pure ingrained habit built through thousands of hours of unseen repetition. When you prepare with that level of intensity, you walk into any room with a calm authority because you know you have outworked everyone else there. This is what separates the pretenders from the contenders. The pretender is obsessed with the outcome. He only wants the trophy. The contender is obsessed with the process. He falls in love with the boredom of repetition. Do you know what that means? It means doing the exact same fundamental tasks day in and day out, long after the initial excitement has faded. It is not sexy. It does not get likes on social media, but it builds an ironclad foundation. Think of a skyscraper. Before they build up, they have to dig deep. They spend months excavating, pouring concrete, and driving steel into the bedrock. Passers-by look at the construction site and see nothing happening. But the engineers know that the deeper the foundation, the taller the building can safely rise. You are trying to build a 90-story life on a 3 FFT foundation, and you wonder why you feel like you are collapsing under the slightest breeze. Stop trying to skip the excavation phase. Embrace the dirt. Embrace the grit. Spend the time preparing your mind, hardening your body, and sharpening your skills. The higher you want to go, the deeper you must dig into your own character. Eventually, the preparation phase ends and the real test begins. This is where we talk about pressure. Most people run from pressure like it's a disease. They design their entire lives around avoiding discomfort. But let me tell you a secret about pressure. Pressure does not change you. It reveals you. It exposes the patterns you have been building in the dark. I want to tell you about 2 different types of men. I have seen them both time and time again. The first man is the one who took the easy road. He talked a big game, bought the right clothes, learned the right buzzwords. But under the hood, there was no engine. The moment a real crisis hit, a financial loss, a relationship breakdown, a sudden setback, he crumbled. He turned to his vices. He blamed the economy. He blamed his upbringing. The pressure squeezed him. And what came out was pure weakness, because that is all he had stored inside. You can fake confidence when the sun is shining, but you cannot fake resilience in the middle of a hurricane. The storm will tear away the mask and show the world exactly who you've been behind closed doors. Now look at the second man. This is the archetype of the builder. The man who worked the night shift for 5 straight years while everyone else was sleeping. He took his meager paycheck and invested it into his mind, his business, his skills. He failed quietly, learned brutally, and kept stacking his pennies of progress. When the exact same hurricane hit his life, it did not destroy him. It awakened him. The pressure squeezed this man, and what came out was pure steel. He did not complain. He did not look for a savior. He looked at the chaos, assessed the damage, and said, I have built from zero before, and I will build from zero again. Why did he react that way? Because his internal patterns were wired for survival and growth. He had already manufactured artificial pressure in his daily life by waking up early, working out intensely, and denying himself cheap pleasure. When the real pressure arrived, it was familiar territory. He welcomed it. If you want an unstoppable mindset, you must stop seeking a life without pressure. Instead, you must become a man who thrives under the weight of it. You must become the storm. Your future self is watching you right now, begging you to embrace the hardship. The man you want to be in 5 years is standing on the other side of your current excuses. Every time you shrink away from a challenge, you are betraying him. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you willingly put yourself in a situation where you might fail? When was the last time you tested your own limits just to see where they actually are? If you cannot remember, you have grown soft. Comfort is a slow, silent killer of ambition. It lulls you to sleep, telling you that you have enough time, that tomorrow is a better day to start. But tomorrow is a myth. The calendar of your life is ticking down this very second. You do not have time to waste being comfortable. You need to seek out environments that demand more from you. You need to put yourself in rooms where you are the least knowledgeable person, the weakest person, the poorest person. That discomfort is the exact fertilizer your mindset needs to grow. It will crush your ego, but it will resurrect your spirit. The pain of growth is nothing compared to the agony of regret. But here is the silent enemy that destroys the potential of millions of men before they even enter the arena. Distraction. We are living in the most distracted era in human history. Your attention is the most valuable currency on earth. It is more valuable than your money. Billion-dollar corporations have hired the smartest psychologists on the planet to build algorithms designed to steal your focus second by second. And you are handing it over for free. You wake up, open your eyes, and the first thing you do is reach for a glowing rectangle to see how other people are living their lives. You are starting your day as a spectator in someone else's movie instead of the director of your own. How can you possibly build an unstoppable mindset when you cannot even control your own thoughts for the first 10 minutes of the day? You are fragmented. You are trying to build an empire, but your energy is scattered across 100 different meaningless trivialities. If you want to achieve anything of significance, you must learn to protect your attention like it is solid gold. You must build what I call a focus fortress. Inside this focus fortress, you must eliminate the 3 energy vampires that are draining your life force. The first vampire is toxic people. You know exactly who I am talking about. The friends who only want to hang out when it involves escaping reality. The people who mock your ambition because it highlights their own laziness. Cut the cord. You cannot fly with eagles if you are scratching in the dirt with turkeys. The second vampire is social media consumption. I am not talking about using it as a tool for business. I am talking about the endless, mindless scrolling that numbs your brain and spikes your dopamine for doing absolutely nothing. You are watching other people achieve their dreams while yours die, a quiet death on the couch. The third vampire is the most dangerous of all, the opinions of others. You are so terrified of being judged that you refuse to stand out. You water down your personality, your goals, and your effort just to fit in with a crowd that is going nowhere. Listen to me. The people who are truly building something great do not have the time or the energy to judge you. The only people judging you are the ones doing less than you. Let me make this crystal clear. If you want to be exceptional, you have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be okay with people calling you obsessed, crazy, or extreme. When they see you waking up at 4 in the morning to run, they will say you are doing too much. When they see you skipping the weekend party to study a new skill, they will say you need to live a little. Let them talk. While they sleep, you grind. While they complain, you execute. Their judgment is the toll you pay on the road to greatness. But you have to guard your focus ruthlessly. Stop giving your energy to arguments that do not matter. Stop arguing with strangers on the internet. Stop getting emotionally invested in news stories designed to make you angry and powerless. You have a finite amount of cognitive energy every single day. When you wake up, your battery is at 100%. Where are you spending it? Are you investing it into your physical health, your mental toughness, and your financial freedom? Or are you spending it on cheap entertainment and toxic drama? The choice is entirely yours, but you cannot avoid the consequences of that choice. Once you have eliminated the distractions, you must install a new operating system in your mind. I call this the growth sequence. It is a 5-stage cycle that separates the amateurs from the masters. Stage 1 is the quality of your input. You have to become a relentless student of life, but not all learning is equal. You must seek out high-level knowledge. Read the books that have stood the test of time. Study the lives of men who have actually built empires from nothing. Your mind is like a garden. If you do not deliberately plant flowers, weeds will grow automatically. Stage 2 is application. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. This is where the 1% daily rule comes into play. You do not need to overhaul your entire life in 24 hours. That leads to burnout. You need to find one small, tiny action you can take today that makes you 1% better than you were yesterday. If you read a book about leadership, do not just put it back on the shelf. Apply one single principle from that book in your very next conversation. The magic is not in knowing what to do. The magic is in actually doing it. Stage 3 of the growth sequence is evaluation. You must become your own harshest critic. Once a week, you need to sit down in complete silence, pull out a pen and paper, and conduct a brutal review of your actions. Did you actually do what you said you were going to do? Where did you waste time? Where did you let fear dictate your decisions? You cannot improve what you do not measure. This requires a level of radical honesty that most men are too cowardly to face. They would rather live in a comfortable delusion than confront the ugly truth of their own undisciplined behavior. Stage 4 is the correction phase. This is the art of the pivot. When you realize a strategy is not working, you do not quit. Quitting is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Instead, you adjust your approach. You tweak the variables. If your morning routine is failing because you are exhausted, you do not abandon the routine. You fix your bedtime. You remain stubbornly fixated on the ultimate goal, but completely flexible in your approach to getting there. You maneuver around obstacles instead of letting them become brick walls in your path. The 5th and final stage is persistence, fueled by the compound effect. This is where the unstoppable mindset is permanently forged. You take the learned knowledge, the applied action, the honest evaluation, and the course correction, and you run that cycle again and again and again. One day you will look back, and the distance you have covered will shock you. Not tomorrow, not next week, but eventually. The problem is humans are terrible at understanding compounding interest. We expect linear, immediate results. You go to the gym for 3 days, look in the mirror, and get angry that you do not have a six-pack. You put in 2 weeks of intense focus into your business and get frustrated that you are not a millionaire. You have to break that toxic expectation. Real growth is invisible for a very long time, and then suddenly it is everywhere. You are boiling water. You can apply heat for minutes and nothing happens. It looks exactly the same. But the energy is accumulating. At 211 degrees, it is just hot water. At 212 degrees it boils, creates steam, and can power a locomotive. Keep applying the heat. Now we arrive at the absolute core of the unstoppable man. This is the dividing line between those who dream and those who conquer. Discipline over motivation. Write that in your mind with permanent ink. Motivation is a feeling. It is a chemical reaction in your brain. It comes and goes like the wind. Some days you wake up feeling like a warrior ready to conquer the world. Other days you wake up feeling like a victim of gravity, wanting nothing more than to hide under the blankets. If your actions are tied to your feelings, your life will be a chaotic roller coaster of starts and stops. You will never build momentum. Discipline is not a feeling. It is a choice you make regardless of the internal weather. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your accomplishments. You and your life may be unwanted to you. You must build a life based on systems that completely remove your mood from the equation. When the alarm goes off, it is not a suggestion. It is a command from your higher self. You do not lay there and debate whether you feel like getting up. You do not negotiate with the weakness in your mind. The feet hit the floor immediately. Let me break down exactly what a discipline system looks like. It starts before the sun comes up. I want you to adopt the 4 a.m. mindset. It does not literally have to be 4 in the morning, but it must be hours before the rest of the world wakes up. Why? Because the early morning is the only time you truly own. The phone is not ringing. The emails are not flooding in. The family is asleep. It is just you and the silence. In this quiet space, you build your armor for the day. You do not touch your phone. The first hour belongs to your mind and your body. You drink a glass of water to hydrate your system. You move your body intensely for 30 minutes to flush the sleep from your veins and flood your brain with oxygen. This is not a to-do list of busy work. This is a strike force plan. By the time the rest of the world is just opening their eyes and reaching for their phones, you have already secured massive victories. You have already won the day before the day has even started. That momentum is completely bulletproof. To maintain this system, you must establish your non-negotiables. A non-negotiable is a rule you set for yourself that cannot be broken under any circumstances short of a medical emergency. Most men fail because everything in their life is negotiable. Their diet is negotiable if they are tired. Their workout is negotiable if it is raining. Their focus is negotiable if a friend wants to grab a drink. When everything is negotiable, your word means absolutely nothing. You need to draw a line in the sand and declare 3 things that you will do every single day, no matter what. Maybe it is reading 10 pages of a book. Maybe it is doing 100 push-ups. Maybe it is spending 30 minutes building your side business. It does not matter how small the action is. It matters how unbreakable the commitment is. When you execute your non-negotiables day after day, week after week, month after month, you build a terrifying level of self-respect. You begin to look at yourself differently. You walk into rooms differently. You speak with a calm authority because your subconscious mind knows that you are a man of absolute uncompromising action. To truly lock this in, I challenge you to a 90-day sprint. 90 days of absolute monk-like focus. Society tells you to seek balance. Balance is for maintaining what you already have. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, if you want to break out of the gravitational pull of a mediocre life, you do not need balance. You need obsessed, unbalanced obsession for a concentrated period of time for the next 90 days. Cut out every single distraction. No alcohol, no junk food, no mindless entertainment, no toxic people. You wake up early. You train your body. You build your mind. You execute your work with vicious precision. Will it be lonely? Yes. Will people think you have lost your mind? Absolutely. Will it test every ounce of willpower you possess? Without a doubt. But on day 91, you will emerge as a completely different species of human being.